Covering the lysosomal storage diseases, or LSDs, a set of rare and devastating inborn errors in the breakdown of complex glycolipids and glycoproteins. They fall into two broad categories: Sphingolipidoses, which we've broken down into three parts, and the mucopolysaccharidoses, covered separately. We'll begin with Tay-Sachs and Niemann-Pick disease. This scene takes place in the hot Egyptian desert during two separate time periods. On the left, we'll see the construction of the Great Sphinx of Giza more than 4,000 years ago. Then on the right, we'll meet some 19th century treasure hunters who are up to no good. This majestic sphinx will represent the Sphingolipidoses in the next three sketches. And while it might be the most famous sphinx, it's not the only one, but catch parts 2 and 3 to see what we mean. Before we start building the sphinx, gotta address the most important part of a construction project: trash. The LSDs all have an enzyme deficiency leading to the buildup of substrate inside lysosomes just before it in the pathway. This impairs normal cellular function, resulting in multisystem disease. Tay-Sachs and Niemann-Pick are autosomal recessive diseases. You'll also probably hear that these diseases, and Tay-Sachs in particular, occur more commonly in people with Ashkenazi Jewish ancestry. Without getting too much into history here, let's just state for the record that most children born with Tay-Sachs today don't have Jewish parents, and that test question writers may not quite be caught up with the times. On that important note, let's start with Tay-Sachs, shown by the Sachs of building materials. Tay-Sachs is caused by a deficiency of hexosaminidase A, and here's a convenient ruin from even before the pharaohs to illustrate that. Hexosaminidase A normally metabolizes GM2 into GM3 ganglioside. In Tay-Sachs disease, GM2 ganglioside accumulates in the lysosomes of neurons, leading to neurotoxicity. To remind you of this, here's a gangly builder carrying a sack of special GM2 building materials. Infantile Tay-Sachs is probably the most tested LSD. Affected infants usually appear normal until 3 to 6 months of age. The first symptom is generally a heightened startle response to sudden noise, followed by rapid neurological deterioration and developmental delay. To illustrate developmental delay, we've added this construction delays sign. Physical exam will show muscle atrophy, weakness, hypotonia, and hyperreflexia. We've added a floppy tired worker for weakness and hypotonia. We also used our recurring symbol of a reflex hammer to symbolize hyperreflexia. In addition, they'll have macrocephaly shown by the sarcophagus large-size head. Must have been a funny-looking pharaoh. We'll also add red dots in the eyes of the Sphinx as a reminder for the cherry red spot seen in the macula on a fundoscopic exam. You might also notice the onion skin appearance of lysosomes on histology due to deposition of GM2 ganglioside. Fun fact, onions were a common snack back in ancient Egypt, and this contributed directly to the invention of, you guessed it, mouthwash. Unfortunately, Tay-Sachs babies eventually become blind, deaf, unable to swallow, and unresponsive. They'll usually die before the age of 3. Okay, let's briefly mention the juvenile and late onset variants of Tay-Sachs which present later in life. We'll draw the lead contractor stumbling on a shaking platform to help you remember ataxia and seizures, some key findings. How embarrassing. He seems to have dropped his Intro to Querying book. Alright, time to go over Niemann-Pick disease. This will be represented by Niemann, our treasure hunter who just happens to be holding a pick. Hey! They're trying to pull down the Sphinx! Not cool! Anyways, Niemann-Pick is caused by a deficiency of sphingomyelinase, leading to buildup of sphingomyelin. Yeah, he's gonna need more than scissors to break that sausage-link chain. There are several forms, but we'll be covering type A, which shares many of the clinical features of Tay-Sachs disease. Affected infants present with rapid, progressive loss of neurological function, characterized by developmental delay, muscle atrophy, weakness, ataxia, and hypotonia, leading to early death by 3 years of age. Like Tay-Sachs, you'll also see a cherry red spot in the macula on fundoscopic exam. Okay, so how can you differentiate between Tay-Sachs and Niemann-Pick? Well, Niemann-Pick babies have a large liver and spleen, while Tay-Sachs babies don't. That's why the Sphinx's giant liver and spleen are on the side near Niemann and her treasure hunters. Another characteristic finding is the presence of lipid-laden macrophages or foam cells, shown by the yellow lipidy jewels inside a cage. And that's it. Phew! I'm getting out of here before these grave robbers attract an ancient curse, but we can review as I run away. Tay-Sachs and Niemann-Pick are autosomal recessive. Tay-Sachs is caused by a deficiency of hexosaminidase A, leading to accumulation of GM2 ganglioside. Tay-Sachs is characterized by hyperacusis, leading to sudden neurological deterioration and developmental delay. Physical exam findings include macrocephaly, cherry red spot in the macula, muscle atrophy, weakness, hypotonia, and hyperreflexia. The juvenile and late onset forms are characterized by ataxia, seizures, and intellectual disability. Niemann-Pick, on the other hand, is caused by a deficiency of sphingomyelinase, leading to buildup of sphingomyelin. Niemann-Pick shares many of the same clinical features as Tay-Sachs. However, two characteristic findings are hepatosplenomegaly and the presence of foam cells.